Francesco. So nice of you to join me today for the podcast. You're joining us from beautiful Verona. I imagine the weather is amazing there. Of course, I am based in the Netherlands, so weather is like meh, but thriving, I guess.
I believe there is already a mistake here. It's raining today. And the worst thing is that I have outdoor football playing for the night. And if it's raining hard, that might be a challenge.
Yikers. As, like a soccer mom who's now also training a group of 9-year-olds, I know that problem very, very well. At least I'll be standing next to the soccer field and not in there in the mud myself.
It's football. But yeah, we agree.
Sure.
On the rest.
Whatever you fancy. I think that is not the topic of discussion for today. Let's fight about that in the hallway at the next conference when we meet again, Francesco. Because you and I have worked together before. So for everyone listening in, Francesco and I have been working together before at Aiven. You actually joined Aiven in 2021, and now you're the field CTO. Can you tell us a little bit about what that means, that new role? What kind of projects are you working on the daily?
So I joined Aiven in 2021, and I've been working on a lot of different roles over the 3.5 years. It seems to me like it's a 10-year career in 3.5 years. I've been working with you a lot in the DevRel kind of part of the company, where we have been creating content, community, and working with the communities that Aiven is working with Postgres being one of the largest ones. But then I started transitioning to this field CTO role, I believe in June, July. And I feel that the field CTO role is kind of a mix between a DevRel role and what I was doing before DevRel, which was consulting. So a field CTO, the best kind of definition that I got from field CTO is a CTO that a company is renting to their clients or prospects. So when, like, a lot of the work that I do is meeting with clients, prospects, and understanding their needs, and trying to be kind of a technical advisor, not a salespeople, but a technical advisor for them. So trying to understand the pain points and trying to figure out how they could solve the pain points with some of our technology or some other technology if there is the need. So it's really an advisory role. And then there is a lot of work that you do internally in order to take the problems that we see on the field, that's why it's field CTO, and bring it back and trying to find a solution internally. So it's a lot. It's a mix between product, marketing, sales, all together every day is never the same. But I believe you've been working in DevRel and community, and also this is something that it's in your radar as well.
Exactly. Yeah. No day is ever the same. And that makes it very interesting. No, like, is there any particular project that you can talk about that you are very excited about right now?
Well, I believe we very recently announced Aiven for AlloyDB, which for Postgres user is a different way of using Postgres. It's Postgres compatible, but it opens the door to a lot other kind of features that the Google team created for AlloyDB specifically. So we worked together with Google in the last few months in order to bring AlloyDB Omni, the Omni version, in Aiven. And now we are able to deliver this service not only on top of Google Cloud itself, but also on top of other clouds like Azure and AWS, for which there was no AlloyDB Omni there. So we are giving people the ability to experience the AlloyDB Omni feature in the clouds of their choice. And I believe this is kind of a game changer, because we are in this kind of part of the world where we provide our services across all the clouds, and having the option to port a unique tool that was previously only available in one cloud to all the other clouds allows users to have a better experience, allows them to have more options in what they do.
Yeah. So how involved were you with that kind of work? Like, how does that even get started? What kind of conversations should I think about that you're having to make sure that this happens?
So I believe everything starts with more or less the provider. In this case was Google reaching out to us and giving us the idea. But then there was a lot of internal works to understand the mechanics, how we could implement that into Aiven. And this, despite me having a huge ego, is stuff that I mostly don't understand. So how Aiven works in the detail, how we integrate different tools, we have super experts in-house that can handle that part. But then when it comes to usability and when it comes to user experience, I've been experiencing a lot of databases from the user point of view. So here is where I go back and I'm most of the time customer zero for some of our services. I find out how can you enable this new feature? How can you do A, B, and C? And suggest ways of making it a little bit more user-friendly. So in this case, for AlloyDB Omni, there is a new wave of connecting to AI models that wasn't there in any Postgres before. So you needed to set up some sort of integration in order to talk with an AI model in a secure way. So getting from, okay, these are the instructions to, okay, this is a user flow, an easy user flow, a pleasant user flow is kind of a project by itself. And lastly, the part that I'm always keen on is creating demos. Because you can produce the best software in the world, but until you give people a sense of what can you actually build with it, it's just a tool on the shelf. When you start understanding which kind of problems can it solve for you and how to solve those problems, then it becomes something that you may want to use.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I mean, you said this is interesting for Postgres users as well. How do you, like Aiven, of course, it has a managed solution for a bunch of data tools or, like related tools in your stack. How does Aiven or you look at Postgres today?
Well, Postgres is a big chunk of what Aiven is. The 4 founders were Postgres geeks. So they created Aiven because they were bored of solving the same problems for different clients. So they built a platform that could solve the Postgres problem. And Aiven at the very beginning was called, if I remember well, PGaaS, PG as a service. Oh. And then luckily they changed that name. So
yeah, that doesn't really roll off the tongue, does it? Like that's.
No, not really. So Postgres is at the core of what we do. And what is our approach with the Postgres community is that we try to give back as well. Is that with talks, is that with commits or trying to push back features that we see helping us in Aiven itself. Because as you know, we are managing a fleet of Postgres for our clients. So we can also see problems way in advance. When we deployed Postgres 17 just got released, when we will deploy Postgres 17, we will potentially see problems at the early stage of the adoption. And we can understand where these problems are coming from. If there are Postgres problems, we can reach out to the community and try to fix those problems. And then we have additional tooling that we built over the years that allow us to manage Postgres better, but most of this tooling, like I believe PG Horde is called, are public repositories. So are there for everybody with the same need of managing a Postgres instance over the cloud to use and contribute to. So I would say Postgres is key. The last bit is also why we are really, really interested in Postgres, is because Aiven runs on Aiven. So we are using our Postgres to manage Aiven as well. So we have a complete interest, not only from the client point of view, but also from the company point of view, to have a reliable, secure, scalable database as foundation for all our work.
Yeah, and you mentioned that once Postgres 17 comes out, you'll find a lot of the things that are not quite working. Once customers start using it, and once you start using it, is there any initiative to also test the release candidate that is out, or is that not work that you do?
I would need to check with the dedicated Postgres team. What I know is that we do a lot of testing before Postgres 17 comes out.
I'd imagine, yeah.
So the release candidates are the perfect way of testing if we can see early warnings about something changing in the behavior, and like we stress test the service itself. So I believe we do a lot of work before, because we try to release the new version as soon as it comes out. But of course, you cannot just release a new version. You need to do a lot of work before that. And we use the release candidates in order to do that.
Excellent. Let's change pace a little bit. Want to talk a little bit about SQL performance tuning, maybe. Aiven acquired EverSQL a couple of, now I need to check my timeline.
It's almost 1 year ago.
1 year ago. Okay. See, like the time was very, very fast, to bring in some sort of like AI assistant, tooling for SQL performance tuning. How do you see the state of things, right now in terms of like AI assisted tooling versus where do you see it go?
Thanks for the question. It's a very nice question. So let me tell you a little bit about my backstory. I've been a consultant in the database space, in the data space, not the database space. But I've never been a SQL tuning guy. I've never been a database tuning guy. Either I rely to other people more experts in this field, or I try to find my resource online and do my best with what I could find. Nowadays, we have a huge amount of different tools that can ease this process. And if you think about the benefit of, from ChatGPT or to EverSQL and what we call the Aiven AI database optimizer, those tools can help new people coming into the field having suggestions to make their work better. Now, I want to draw a line between huge LLMs that are kind of general and dedicated solutions like EverSQL, like the database optimizer. A general solution will parse the entire world of content regarding optimization and give you a suggestion. The quality of the input cannot really be controlled. Like, they will parse the entire internet. If I wrote a bad blog post about how to tune a SQL query, there are chances that that will be used to give me a suggestion. On the other side, having dedicated solution allows you to have a little bit of control on what you're suggesting. What the EverSQL did over the years and what they are now deploying in Aiven is a secure solution that will only give you a suggestion if we are sure that that will improve your performance. So it's enhancing the work, but enhancing the work on a secure way. The last bit that I want to also talk about is I've been through this kind of everything is automatically optimized also in my previous life. And we can mention the company later on. But there is the fear from DBAs and tuning experts that this will take out their work. And to me, this is not a fear that they should have, because tools like this are for newbies to do a little bit better their job. But possibly they will never achieve the level of optimization of an expert, until not now. On the other side, tools like this, implemented really well, like we are doing at Aiven, allow a DBA to see a dashboard where they see, okay, I have 200 databases to manage. I might have performance problem. Where are those performance problems? If you start from not having an idea on where to start your day, you spend just few hours in understanding where the problem is. While what we are doing with the database optimizer is also telling you, okay, look that out of the 200 databases, there is 3 databases with those 5 queries that are taking 30% longer than yesterday or than last week. So you immediately start knowing where to focus. And then you have the suggestions that help you understanding how to possibly solve, or you can go wild and say, okay, I'm the expert. I know where to focus. Now let me do my job. So it's both an accelerator for early developers, all developers, but also for DBAs is a huge way of using better their time. And this is something that in the old days, like just looking at logs and metrics in a dashboard, it allows you to, it forces you to spend time on not a super useful task. While if you start from insights about your performance, you are already 5 steps ahead.
Right. Yeah. I think some of the fear also stems from, well, if AI is optimizing our queries and something breaks, like good luck troubleshooting that. But I think as long as there is recommendations and there is logs of what kind of recommendations you're actually taking, which ones you're implementing, then you can always go back and troubleshoot and figure out what was maybe a recommendation or optimization that turned out not to be an optimization, right?
Indeed.
But I think that is sort of the difference. Understanding how you can use the tools to augment your work rather than take over your work, as you alluded to. Yeah,
that's a key topic. For some use cases, having the tool completely taking control of your databases and optimizing it under the hood is perfectly fine. But in some other use cases, performance stability is way better than 10% for a particular query. Like for huge production databases with a lot of workloads, you don't want a lot of variation. You want to have standard performance. Are they really, really optimal? Maybe not. But even if they are 10% slower, that's not a huge problem. On the other side, if today it's 10% faster, tomorrow is 40% slower, and every day is different, that's a huge risk.
Yeah.
So understanding where you can tune on the automatically optimization and when you can tune off and just receive a recommendation is also something that allows different people with different needs to have a tool that they can use.
Yeah, super interesting. Very cool. All right. Of course, like while we're recording this, it's the beginning of October, and just in September, Aiven launched something interesting that also ties into your past. You sort of like hinted towards it a little bit as well. That the Aiven platform is now live on Oracle Cloud Marketplace. Did you ever think you were gonna say those words in the one sentence?
So no. I didn't think that I would be able to say those words in one sentence, but really, this was one of my first suggestions to Aiven when I joined Aiven itself.
And you said so repeatedly. I can attest to that. Yes.
Yeah. So when I arrived, we were deploying to all the major clouds at the time: AWS, Google, and Azure. And I said, well, we are so complementary to what Oracle offers. Why don't we deploy there? And at the time, there wasn't the client requirement. We didn't see the space to go there. But then after a couple of years, that changed. We see an adoption of the Oracle Cloud, and we see customers that are willing to take us to the Oracle Cloud. And yeah, that news was, again, a long journey. I assisted that from the sideline. But it means a lot to me because I believe it gives another chance to users. Oracle Cloud is growing because they are aggressively attacking the market. They have really new ways of, for example, providing cost savings when it comes to networking. All of this is really compelling to some people. And I know that the Oracle is not really seen well in the Postgres space, but it's an option. It's an option that people have. Oracle nowadays, Oracle Cloud is not Oracle database anymore. Now we are bringing Postgres, we are bringing OpenSearch, we are bringing Kafka, and we will bring the entire set of tools that Aiven provides, also on OCI, which is the Oracle Cloud infrastructure. And basically, this gives you an extra option. Are you comparing all the clouds out there? Well, you have also Oracle that you can keep in mind. But at the end of the day, what we provide is the same Postgres that you can install in your basement if you want. So are you happy with us? Are you not happy with us? Are you happy with Oracle Cloud infrastructure? Are you happy with AWS? At the end of the day, you can take your nice backup. You can move your data back at home, and you can do everything yourself. Like I believe the beauty of us being everywhere, but at the same time providing you the standard Postgres, is that you are always owner of your data end to end. And it's your decision where you take it next.
Yeah. Yeah, you said like it's maybe viewed differently in the Postgres world versus the rest of the world, right? Like I definitely cannot remember any Postgres event where Oracle wasn't mentioned at least once in sort of like a jokey manner. I'm pretty sure there's some Postgres developers out there that saw the announcement of Aiven being like available on the cloud marketplace and checked to see if the date wasn't 1st of April. So where does that stem from? And like will this ever go away, you think? Like is there a bright future for Postgres and Oracle? What do you think?
Well, I mean, let's do one step back. Was it in July? We assisted to a very weird thing that can be somehow connected to what we see now. We saw that both Databricks and Snowflake agreed that Iceberg is the more or less winning data format.
Yeah.
So two companies that made about the closed source solution the way of living agreed that now open standards, open formats for data are the future. If we take this to the pure database space, Postgres is kind of the same. It's not a data format, but it is a way of managing your data that allows you to be free to choose where to go and how to do that. And similarly with OpenSearch, with Apache Kafka, are open source tooling that allows you to have the choice. Why did we go to Oracle? Because we had customers asking us to go there. Again, the Oracle Cloud is raising the share in the market because they have really good products and really good now ecosystem of tools that they can integrate. Is it going to go away? I don't think so, because they are now an established cloud player. And despite what we thought about Oracle in the past, now Oracle Cloud is something different. It's not just the Oracle databases with the license fees and the ways of getting those license fees that we had in the past. Is a cloud provider. People deploying the Postgres instance on Azure or on AWS. Well, in the future, or even now, they will be doing the same on Oracle Cloud. I believe it's like I would say the old image of Oracle and the new image of Oracle is, those are two very different things. And also the capabilities that you can have with Oracle now are very different from what we had in the past. So I would say it's, again, a choice for the user. I don't think we will go away from it. I think it has the potential of becoming a really complementary offer to what Oracle has in the cloud space.
All right. Now that I got you on your thought leadery chair, any more opinions that you want to share with us, Francesco? Maybe an unpopular opinion about Postgres?
Yes. So driving back from Oracle and also in Postgres, I have like a very controversial opinion about trying to do everything with one tool. This was the mantra of Oracle 10 years ago with the Oracle database. Seems to be the recurring mantra with Postgres. Everybody's trying to do almost everything, also like painting your kitchen with Postgres. I mean, I'm on two very different positions. On one position, I would say, keep it simple. So if you are able to have decent performance for your workloads with just the tool that you already use and you already know and you already use for your operational workloads, why shouldn't you do something else? On the other side, sometimes what I call decent performance are not enough. So sometimes you cannot just do everything with Postgres. There are other technologies that are out there that are really, really well integrated with Postgres that can allow you to do something else better. Let's take, an example. In Postgres, you can do primary, write and read, and secondary with read-only patterns. It's extremely, I wouldn't say easy, it's very doable. However, it's always Postgres. The way that the data is stored and the way that you query the data is always the same. There are other technologies, for example, like ClickHouse, that are meant to mass amount of analytical queries. And there are ways to integrate the two that are not seamless, but are similar to the pattern that you integrate a primary and a read-only replica. So sometimes when you hit the limits of Postgres, I would say look also around, because there are adjacent, is that a word? There are close technology that are well integrated with Postgres that can take a lot of the pain out of just scaling up a huge instance of Postgres. So check what you can do only with Postgres, but sometimes if you hit hard limits, just look around. There are ways to do that better, faster, and also cheaper. And at the end of the day, if you sum the three, as, for example, a database administrator, if you don't just try to hammer everything in one instance, but have your part of your workload on Postgres, part on something else, I believe you go and sleep a little bit better at night because you are not worried about that instance to be destroyed the next morning.
Yeah, I remember your talk at last year's, so 2023 PGConf EU, where you're like, there is benefits and trade-offs from sticking with the one tool. Benefits definitely if your team is incredibly proficient with Postgres and they can do all of these things. That's a great thing. Like stick with what you have and what you're very good at. Also, of course, like hiring for all kinds of roles is expensive. Might not be might not be a resource that every company can use. So there's definitely benefits and trade-offs to using any type of tool, and using any type of tool as sort of like the one big thing in your infrastructure. All right. So maybe to like a final question for you then, Francesco, what wish that you would get talked more about, or maybe talk less about in the Postgres world?
Again, I have a controversial opinion here.
Excellent. Excellent. We love controversial opinions, so bring it on.
So most of the time when you see at conferences, the speaker goes on stage and says, "Hi, my name is," and then they say, "I started with Postgres with version X and Y." I find this thing really bothering me because I've been bitten by this in the past at the early stage of my career, where I've been told several times, you cannot grow because you are too young. Not because of my knowledge, but just because of my age. So the same, I believe, translates into Postgres. We shouldn't talk about how long you have been in the space, but more about what you really know about what you are doing, or what has been your impact in the community and in the tooling. I believe switching away from I've been here 10 years to maybe this is the area of expertise that I have will be a way of, first of all, showcasing the impact, but also welcoming way better new members in the community. Because you don't put, okay, this is my flag, I've been here for 10 years, and after 3 years you can start talking, but just saying, okay, I've been debugging JSON in Postgres since 2 years. This is my experience. Or like even without the 2 years, I've been having a problem with Postgres and JSON in this space. Let me talk about my experience. We don't need years. Like we don't need dog years, human years, Postgres version. Let's just talk about our experience and our and how we feel about Postgres itself. I believe we can do a better service to the entire community.
I love that. So sharing insights before you're tenured whatever that means. That's super interesting. No, I've always thought that specifically when people come from different industries or different experiences, or whole different fields, like that is incredibly interesting. How do they look at the tool that you're so intimately familiar with? They see very different things, right? And that can be incredibly interesting, and very helpful for the Postgres project as well. So
one thing that I always say is, I give you my example. Most of the time, I don't want to know how Aiven works on the backend because I want to experience the platform from the end user point of view. If you don't want to know the secrets because you want to have, I wouldn't say the naive views, but the external views on how other people are using the tool. So welcoming other eyes on top of the tool that we love is really what we should do more and more and more, because that opens new avenue for the tool itself to be successful in a huge variety of use cases and ecosystems and verticals, and you call it.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for that. I think that is the perfect end for our conversation. That's a very positive end and a call to action, hopefully, for the rest of the community. So thanks again, Francesco, for joining me today.
Thanks, Flo, for having me.